The first event that we had about 120 people registered, and we just prayed, please have 100 people show up, because then we thought, then we're successful. We had an overwhelming 527 people show up at that first event. We realized then there's definitely a need for this. There's definitely a reason why we should do this.
Brains Together started when my friend Sue Steinmetz got a phone call from someone at her job inquiring whether there was anything in Rochester that was doing fundraising or supporting brain tumors. That sort of was the seed for this, and from there the organization took off. She came to me, asked if I would be interested in helping with this, and I did tell her, careful what you wish for, and here we are, 16 years later. So Brains Together, we provide a monthly support group, which is a tremendous help for people. People like the camaraderie and the community of being with others that are going through the same thing they are. The support group successes are more than I could even tell you.
So Brains Together, one good thing about it would be that it's not just for brain tumor patients. It's also for brain tumor survivors. It's also for people who are caregivers. And the cool thing about that is that we can learn from each other. So whether it's my story or someone else's story, we're all being real and vulnerable and transparent about how we're feeling. So it's nice to have that sense of community.
It was probably, it's been 6 years ago, when my son, Charlie, he just didn't feel right, asked if I would take him to the emergency room. It was on that day that he was diagnosed with a mass. And it is so incredibly shattering to know that it is in the brain and the difficulties of removal, and to have others that were in a situation similar to yours. It felt like, wow, thank you, Lord, for bringing us here and giving us somewhere to talk.
So the philosophy I always keep in the brain tumor area is that today's research promises tomorrow's cures. In 16 years, I think the society has funded about $1.4 million in brain tumor research, all staying here in the Mayo Clinic community. Those research projects have blossomed into other bigger studies that are going to clinical trials and so on. So to kickstart something at the seed stage and see it blossom, and to know that these research advances can be traced back to patients and their families and the volunteers who started and perpetuate this. Just as I'm talking about this, I get goosebumps. And I think that's the way I perceive this wonderful organization.
We are a volunteer organization. We don't have an office or a building. We don't have paid employees. This is a grassroots organization.
I think our ultimate goal is to bring people together and to provide a support for this network of people.
Why Brains Together is important for me personally is because I've had a connection with 3 family members that have had a brain tumor. But I also have seen over the years that it's important to bring people together. And I want to be sure that in the future, people are being brought together and have connections and can be supported, and they know that the research that we're funding is important and maybe going to affect their life, and if not their lives, the lives of future patients.
And what I think we have is something that should be just replicated. Get the word out and get people to really want to support it.